Hey YouTube, it's Rarity, and today I want to talk about ARG releasing their own format, and they just released their list yesterday, and it's an interesting concept, I'll give it that, but I want to talk about whether or not they should have released their own list to have a separate format, and also talking about the list itself and seeing what you all think and about it and what kind of format that would produce. So first I did want to talk about the actual list itself. And so Jin, releaser of Rituals, was banished. Or not banished, banned. Fusion Gate, Vovel Chain, Necros, Trishula, Royal Magical Library, and Vanity's Emptiness. And then limited to one, we have Seer of the Burning Abyss, Construct, Shadal Construct, El Shadal Fusion, Elemental Hero Bubbleman, Elemental Hero Stratos, my bad, Instant Fusion, Mistake, Necros Unicore, and Wind Up Zenmaity. And then to two we have Dante of the Burning Abyss, Dragon Ravine, Inzector Hornet, Rescue Rabbit, Summoner's Art, Torrential Tribute, Wind Up Magician, and then no longer limited is Chaos Sorcerer, Dark Hole, Glow Up Bulb, and Sacred Sword of 7 Stars. So first off, about the list, obviously Necros and Burning Abyss get hit, and Shadals, those three get hit really hard, and those were the best decks. So definitely completely just changes the format 100%. Obviously here, Clifford is still very fine. Satellars are still very fine. Ritual Beast are still very fine. If anything, actually, Ritual Beast and Clifford are a little bit better because Mistake is now at 1, and Mistake hurts both decks quite tremendously. So yeah, and under this list, I would say Ritual Beast and Clifford are two very good decks. There is some hero support, but honestly, I just don't think heroes are that good. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, heroes, but heroes haven't done anything, and they don't do anything. So there's that. And I don't know if giving them a Stratos and then also limiting Bubble Man. So I don't know if that really will do much help at all. Wind-ups are far before my time. So are heroes, but I mean heroes are kind of back again, so that's the only reason I know about them. But I don't know if giving them Zenmaity will help at all, because I don't even know what wind-ups do. Double Dragon Ravine is nice, I guess. There's no Vanity's Emptiness, so again, I guess I would say that's more of helping Ritual Beast and than anything else, because I'd say 9 times out of 10, Satellars kind of have an answer for Vanity's Emptiness, especially like if they just have their counter trap card or whatever they need to make it work. It can be a little bit harder for Ritual Beast to get over Vanity's Emptiness played at the right time. Now it is possible to make a Necros deck or a Burning Abyss deck under this list. I don't think you can do it with Shadals. You just don't have enough oomph anymore. Once your one construct is gone, it's pretty much over. And then L only being at 1, that's the best card. So I don't see that happening. Also wind-ups get Magician, which I don't even know. It's a 2. I don't know if that's limited or something else. Again, I don't really know or have paid attention to wind-ups. But anyway, Rescue Rabbit's at 2, so that could potentially do something for some shitty deck, I'm sure. Dark Hole's at 3, but I think that's irrelevant. I don't think Dark Hole should ever really played more than 2 anyway. It is a good card, but I just... Oh, and Torrential Tribute is at 2. Now that could be something, honestly, because Torrential Tribute is really good in Ritual Beast. And overall, it's just a pretty good card. Definitely could help out with the new Pendulum deck coming out. I forgot. Ignites, yeah. They pendulum summon a whole bunch of stuff. You activate torrential, bam. You know, definitely very good card for situations like that. But then that, you know, that'd pretty much be the format, I believe, anyways. Ritual Beast, Clifford, and Satellar Knights. Now, a lot of people have started complaining that it will be a very helmet format with helmet decks abundant everywhere. So that is a possibility. Being that they took out, you know, the 3 best non-helmet decks. So, I mean, you know, in terms of what the format would be, of course, we do have a new set coming out relatively soon. So, you know, that would change things up. But before that, you know, the ARGs coming up could be kind of helmet and kind of boring, honestly. So I don't know. I wouldn't say that I'm a fan of the list, but I'm not a fan of the list either because they didn't hit my Ritual Beast. But it is sad to see Bernibus go. Again, like I said, you know, you never know. There's always somebody that can come out with some weird wonky deck list that can still make a broken deck work. So with Necros, or like I said, I don't think you could do it with Shadal. Unless it was like a Shadal BA build or something, maybe like that could work. But other than that, I don't think you know, much else. Like nothing's like being brought back. They didn't do, you know, they didn't bring back a broken card that would change the format like they have done with Raigeki and they did with Snatch Steel and different things like that. Nothing came off that's super broken. So we have new power cards, but that's my analysis of the list. I would love to know what you all think about the list and what kind of format it would produce. But moving on to whether or not I think this is a good idea or they should have done this. The list itself, or having 2 lists itself, I mean, presents a very awkward future for all Yu-Gi-Oh players that participate in ARG events as well. Because obviously if you don't participate in ARG events, this isn't relevant to you at all. But if you are interested in doing standard, you know, Konami events and ARG events, do you really think that you will want to be practicing 2 formats at the same time? Especially if the lists are vastly different. If any of the 3 decks that died are still alive, that's a whole set of different decks you have to play test against. Or you could play that deck and it could be valid in one format and not valid in the other format, and which means you would have to get a whole new deck if you're interested in playing the other format because your deck is dead. Of course, it's very hard to talk about it right now without knowing what Konami's list is going to be, but even if they're minute differences, it's still different things you have to play around with. And does that turn you off as a player to one or the other? Would you rather at this point just be going to ARGs or just be going to Konami events? Or is this exciting for you? I could see that as another option. You're like, oh, just, you know, because a lot of times Yu-Gi-Oh players have to take little breaks, whether that be, you know, a few days or a few weeks or, you know, whatever it be. It gets a little boring playing the same thing over and over again. That's why people, you know, play things like GOAT and stuff like that, but that's not really something you're practicing at and play testing to go to events. You know, that's just something on the side for fun. Or some people, you know, do have like GOAT tournaments and stuff like that, but that's something ingrained in your brain, and you know what your deck is going to be and all that stuff. You're not play testing to work with your build and gain knowledge. You are just playing GOAT. So would you? But is that exciting for you to be able to have something to go to when you're like, oh, that's enough Konami for the day, let's try ARG now? Is that a fun thing, or could that be a fun thing potentially. I could see that. Having just a different format when you're tired of the format you're playing, and especially if there's decks that are alive or not in different formats. You could be like, I'm done playing against VA today. Let's go to the ARG format. Goddamn Fire Lake. Fuck you. I'm never gonna see you again in the ARG format. You know, I could see that, or just players having preference to. Again, I'll just use BA as an example. If BA stays alive in Konami, then if players really just don't want to play against BA, then you could, just stick to the ARG format. Now, my problem being with that, depending on where you go to play locals, your locals will have to, if they're an OTS, they will have to go by Konami's ban list, whatever it is. If you go today, you have to go by the Konami ban list. That's just their policy and how they have to do it. They can't even, you can't even, if it's like the day before the new ban list is supposed to come out, or like officially in effect, you still have to go by the previous ban list, or the ban list of the time. So, with that being said, if you are fond of the ARG format, you won't be able to go practice it at your locals and stuff like that, and depending on where you are, some locals are more intense or serious than others. But me myself, I personally love going and playing at locals, and winning prize support is essentially now how I get most of my cards, my extra just trade bait stuff, because I have pretty much everything that I want personally. And then I go to locals and I win cards, and then whatever I get, I put into a trade binder, and I try to trade it up, and then eventually, usually when I go to a big event, I just sell everything, or any event almost now. I just find somebody that gives me a decent offer, and I sell them everything. And so it is a very important thing for me. So if Konami released their list, and I end up being more fond of the ARG list, I won't be able to play it at my locals, which is unfortunate, if that's the case. Now, hopefully, I'll just like Konami's list whenever the hell that comes out. I was kind of hoping it would come out, like, now. I was like, surely after European Nationals it'll be out, but no. It could still be out within the week or so. I mean, don't really know. But I just see this potentially being a lot of conflict for players, trying to decide, and ultimately it could be a bad idea on AIRG's part, because players may not want to practice that different format, and if they don't practice, they're obviously not going to go to the events. Once Konami releases their list and we have more events going up and YCSs and things like that, or even regionals, it's like, I could go to an ARG, or I could go to a regional, and then, a lot of people will go to ARGs if they already have the invite, and they'd say it's no point. So, but then they could change their mind and say, well, I'll just go to the regional, actually, because I'm not familiar with this format. It's not what I've been practicing, and it's not relevant. That could be the case. People could just view the format as not relevant, which essentially, in the long run, that's kind of how it is. If you're, wanting to go play at nationals and do well at nationals and stuff like that, you will stick to Konami's format. But I could see this as being a good thing, and being a refreshing, different kind of format, and being able to play Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 different ways within the same format. So I think it could be interesting. I'd love to know what you all think about it. Only time will tell. Of course, right now, there are a lot of people that are super happy and super mad. So me, myself, I'm a little indifferent. I try not to get too upset about anything. But we'll find out. But as always, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This has been Rarity. Peace out.